Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brendan, and I hope all of you guys are having a great day no matter where you are from, because there's a lot happening in the world of cryptocurrency. We have Bitcoin rejecting a previous support level, the Ethereum merge, which is nearly 2 weeks away, and it's hard to believe that, but it's almost finally here. And we have Crypto.com accidentally refunding someone $10.5 million instead of a $100 refund. Now, on top of all this, there's a bunch of AVAX kind of news / scandal that's happening. People aren't too happy with them at the moment, and BNB's chain is going to be introducing liquid staking. Now, I'll explain exactly what this means, because we see a lot of this on the Ethereum chain, but it looks like BNB really wants to kind of get involved and penetrate into this space as well. So if this does sound interesting, make sure you guys stick around for the entire length of this video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But let's start it off with Bitcoin and Ethereum here. We'll look at the charts and then kind of dive into the news as we see it unfolding. But the most recent developments in the price of Bitcoin and in Ethereum is that we noticed that a very significant level was rejected on Bitcoin just about a week or two ago. And when we saw this was the bottom of the Terra Luna / UST crash, where we wicked all the way down to $25,000. And in recent weeks, we retested the same level, and we actually saw a really sharp rejection. It was a very convincing rejection. And so then the next level that we broke after that was the one that we just rejected yesterday. And so this is a level that we had used support not once, not twice, not three, but this was the 4th time that we had actually used this level as support. And this week we broke down through this level. And so this level was sitting right around $20,800. And what we saw is that upon this breakdown through this level, we actually retested this in yesterday's candle and rejected this along with the 20-day moving average on the daily time frame. So this is not an ideal scenario for the bulls. We really don't like seeing a break, hook, and maybe a potentially go situation, because that is definitely something that is leaning more bearish than it is necessarily a bullish thing. If we go over to the Ethereum chart, which has for most of this year been actually outperforming Bitcoin, especially on the recovery since it has bottomed. I think a lot of people really are excited about this merge, but even Ethereum seeing a little bit of the same kind of example, where we have this bottom right here where we've seen a lot of support, and now guess what? Where we were previously seeing bottoming wicks, we are seeing rejection wicks on this most recent daily candle development. We're also seeing rejections from the 20 and the 50-day moving averages, and this is, one of those levels that we don't want to see a rejection at, because it could lead to potentially, further downside for Ethereum. So if we're just kind of drawing up and looking at support, there definitely is more support on Ethereum. It hasn't hit a lower low yet. It still has plenty of room to hit a higher swing low, especially as we zoom out and kind of look at this. It's got a lot below it, so it's not I guess as bad as people are making it out to be. However, we don't like to see rejections from the 200-day moving average, something that Bitcoin actually hasn't even gotten to yet, which is this yellow line. And so maybe we'll make a whole separate video kind of talking about how these have correlated to the traditional markets and where they're at with their major moving averages. Because I think looking at something, and we could take a quick glance at it right now, but taking a look at something like S&P 500 or ES, which is the futures contract for the S&P 500, is an important tool to look at, because we can see that this is a very clear rejection from this 200-day moving average. And on the weekly time scale, we actually have the 200 weekly moving average, which we are using as support. So the thought here is maybe we are going to be squeezing in between the 200-day moving average and the 200 weekly moving average, and maybe we kind of squeeze inside of this zone until we ultimately break out, or maybe even break down. And so there's a couple theories kind of talking around this, because we've traditionally held the S&P 500's 200-day moving average unless we are in recession type events like the 2000 or the 2001 dot-com bubble, or the 2008 housing crisis and recession, or the 2020 COVID crash, which we barely kind of briefly poked below this area. So only in extreme market environments will the S&P 500 break the 200-day moving average. And if this happens, I would imagine that it causes more downside on Bitcoin because people are just going to be scared in general at that point. So across the board of technical analysis, we are seeing a little bit more bearish activity at the moment. I think a lot of the macros on like the weekly and the monthly still don't look horrible. In fact, I think there's a lot of bullish argument there in the larger macro look of the markets, but in the immediate future of the market, things don't look particularly bullish at the moment. Now let's talk about this. This is one of the wildest things. I had to do like a double read through of this when I was going through this morning, because someone was trying to get around, I've seen mixed reports of a $68 refund or a $100 refund. Either way, very small refund, relatively speaking. I think it was something like $100 in the Aussie dollar, and that comes out to be somewhere around $68 to $70 in USD. And instead of getting that, Crypto.com accidentally transferred them $10.5 million. Now the kicker here is that I can't believe I'm saying this. Crypto.com is now going to be suing this person in order to try to get the money back. So they accidentally sent all this money. They realized it was an accident, and the person's already spent well over $1 million of this on a luxury home. So now Crypto.com is trying to sue the person to get the money back. And so we know this because it turns out that this person, as they stated, has already spent $1.35 million worth of the funds on a 5-bedroom luxury home. So just wild spending habits, wild news. It's just so interesting that an exchange would make this kind of a mistake, not be able to get the money back, and then have the person that they gave it to just go on a spending frenzy so that the exchange has to now go sue the individual that was previously a part of this exchange. Wild turn of events. Hopefully this brought someone a smile. Definitely not bringing Crypto.com a smile, but it's a wild story, and I'm sure the person who made that extra decimal error was probably getting fired, unfortunately. Now, in other news, we have BNB introducing liquidity staking in order to provide crypto users with more kinds of income streams. This is something that we see on Ethereum a lot. If you're working on the Ethereum network, you notice that liquidity staking is pretty frequent. You can do it kind of all over the place. There's a lot of ways to do it, but BNB wants to really be hammering home on this, especially into the push of Ethereum 2.0. And as this Ethereum merge happens, there are other chains that are getting a little bit nervous. And you can tell that they're getting nervous because of these recent developments. They're trying to say, how can we add more value to our layer 1 so that we don't lose market share to Ethereum? Because now that Ethereum is going to be getting onto proof of stake, more eco-friendly, faster, lower gas fees, all of these things that are going to be coming to Ethereum, how can we help make our blockchain stand out? Because previously all we had to do was make it faster and cheaper, and it was like, okay, now we are a solid alternative. But now that that edge is going to be slowly going away, I think we're starting to see some of these other layer 1 say, all right, what other kind of value can we add? And so this appears to be one of BNB's solution to solving that issue. So with the Ethereum merge coming up, friendly reminder that we should be seeing this around the time of September 14th to 16th. We don't have an exact date because it is slightly flexible as to when it can happen, but it should be happening within that couple day span. So keep an eye out for it. Some exchanges are going to be halting ERC20 smart contracts during this time, meaning that you're not going to be able to trade Ethereum on certain exchanges during the time of this merge. Most exchanges have said that they just want it to be down for minutes to hours and not days at a time. So there will be a brief period that a lot of major exchanges will not be operating Ethereum. So just kind of use this as your precursor and heads up. But without making this video too long, there was a lot of AVAX scandals or AVAX news with a whistleblower coming out. We'll have this link in the description down below if you want to go through it, and if AVAX interests you. overall, it doesn't look like it has massively affected the price of Avalanche. But, you know, it's just kind of following the market at the time of really making this video. So, with that being said, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this content, consider hitting the like and subscribe button. We have videos just like this one that come out every single week. And if you like the news and the technical analysis that we cover, you'll definitely like the content that we have coming in the future here. So until Friday's video, I will see you all very, very soon.